Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, really get into them, and pull out the core insights you need. Think of it as your shortcut to getting properly informed. We try to pack it with surprising facts, keep you hooked.
Yeah, getting past the headlines to what's really going on.
Exactly. And today we're tackling something kind of intriguing, maybe even unexpected. It's this powerful synergy between introverts and artificial intelligence. We're going to explore how this isn't just, a nice idea, but potentially a real driver for productivity, for unlocking potential in organizations.
It's a really interesting intersection. We've got quite a bit of material here, articles, notes, all sort of digging into what makes introverts tick, their strengths, and then, of course, what AI can actually do now.
Right, and where those two things meet in the workplace.
Yeah.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. Understand how AI can genuinely amplify the innate strengths introverts bring.
And why that matters, right? For productivity, innovation.
And inclusion, too. That's a big part of it. Okay, let's start unpacking this. Oh, but actually, before we get deeper into this, just a quick reminder, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss future deep dives like this one.
Definitely worth doing.
Okay, so introverts in the workplace. Let's start there. The sources, they highlight this common view that productivity often gets linked to more, extroverted behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely. Like being really visible, constant talking in meetings, quick verbal responses, that sort of thing.
That's the traditional picture, maybe.
It often is. A lot of workplace cultures kind of evolved around that visible, outward-facing ideal. But what the sources really emphasize is that introverts possess these core traits that are incredibly valuable, even if they aren't always shouting about them.
Like what, specifically?
We're talking about things like a preference for focused solitude to get work done, a real capacity for deep concentration, strong analytical thinking, usually, a tendency towards more structured, maybe written communication.
And that reflection piece, thinking before speaking.
Exactly. That reflection over just rapid-fire interaction, deeper processing.
And what does that deeper processing actually, result in? What's the benefit?
Well, often it leads to really well-considered decisions. The sources link this kind of thorough information processing directly to minimizing risks and getting outcomes that are, analytically very sound. There's even a mention of a 2008 study, I think it was Journal of Motor Behavior. It suggested introverts' processing time actually contributes to more insightful results.
So it's not about being slow, it's about being thorough.
Precisely. Deeper, more comprehensive thinking often.
Right, okay. Deliberate and thorough. So where does that really shine? What kind of roles?
Think about roles needing strategic foresight, complex data analysis, tackling really knotty, multifaceted problems, areas where a quick, surface-level answer just won't cut it, could even be damaging.
Okay, makes sense. In those cases, that deep analysis is a huge plus.
A significant asset, yeah.
Okay, so we've got these valuable introvert strengths. Now, the big question from our sources, how does AI fit in? How can artificial intelligence possibly mesh with these very human, very internal traits?
This is where it gets really interesting. This is the synergy. See, AI is brilliant at handling routine stuff, repetitive tasks, crunching huge amounts of data incredibly fast.
Okay.
So for an introvert, this isn't about AI taking their job. It's about AI freeing them from the admin burden, the lower-level cognitive tasks.
So they can focus on the high-value stuff.
Exactly. The stuff they excel at that requires their deep focus and analytical power. Take cognitive depth and data analysis, for example. AI tools, automated analyzers, predictive modeling, machine learning, they can chew through massive data sets, just massive.
Stuff a human couldn't possibly process alone.
Right. So the introverted professional, maybe an analyst or data scientist, they don't spend weeks wrestling with raw numbers. Instead, they can immediately apply their critical thinking, their contextual understanding to interpret what the AI has surfaced.
Okay. So the AI finds the pattern, the human explains what it means.
Pretty much. The sources give great examples, like an introverted financial analyst using AI to spot subtle market trends others missed, or a data scientist using AI models to predict consumer behavior shifts way more accurately. AI does the grunt work. The introvert provides the crucial strategic insight.
So AI handles the data lifting, the introvert brings the interpretation and strategy. Got it.
Precisely. It amplifies their analytical core. And interestingly, it applies to creativity, too.
Creativity?
Yes.
I usually think of Like noisy brainstorming sessions for that.
Stereotype, yeah.
Yeah.
But the sources remind us, and research backs this up, introverts often have their best ideas during quiet, focused time. Solitude can really foster divergent thinking. So AI tools like generative design software or these sophisticated idea management platforms, they can actually support that process. An AI could rapidly generate variations on a design concept, for instance. Or platforms can allow asynchronous brainstorming, contributing ideas when ready, not just on the spot.
So an introverted designer could use AI to quickly prototype lots of variations, working in their own way.
Exactly. Exploring creative avenues deeply, rapidly, in a style that suits them.
That makes a lot of sense. Using tech to enable different paths to innovation. What about communication? That's often flagged as a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Especially in meeting-heavy cultures.
It can be. But the sources note introverts often prefer, or maybe just excel at, precise, well-structured written communication.
Right.
So AI writing assistants, think Grammarly or similar tools baked into platforms, can help refine that clarity and conciseness even further, making sure their written points really land.
Polishing their preferred medium.
Yes. And in meetings themselves, introverts are often fantastic active listeners, synthesizing information deeply even if they're not speaking constantly. AI transcription tools like Otter.ai, for example, create real-time notes. This means everyone's input, verbal or maybe typed into a chat, gets captured and valued more equally.
Levels the playing field a bit.
It does. And AI bots on platforms like Slack or Teams can create these structured, asynchronous channels for contributing detailed thoughts or feedback. No pressure for immediate verbal jousting.
Okay. Providing those alternative structured ways to contribute seems really key. And just pure workload. AI must help there too.
Oh, absolutely. Task automation, workflow optimization. This is core AI strength.
Yeah.
And it aligns perfectly with an introvert's need for those focused, uninterrupted work blocks.
Oh, so.
Well, for instance, an introverted software developer might use AI to generate routine boilerplate code.
Right. The boring stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeing them up to focus on the really complex creative parts, the architecture, the tricky debugging, or think project management. AI-enhanced tools like Asana or Trello can now intelligently prioritize tasks, predict deadlines, even suggest who should do what. That reduces the social friction, the back-and-forth negotiation that can sometimes happen when coordinating projects manually.
It sounds very efficient.
It can be. The sources mention a tech startup case study. They brought in AI for task automation and saw a 40% cut in admin time.
40%.
Yeah, and that directly boosted their introverted employees' capacity for innovation, sped up their projects, real tangible impact.
Wow. Those numbers really drive it home. And the sources had some really specific, like, real-world examples too, didn't they?
They did. In professional services, there's an AI platform, Propense.ai. It helps introverted partners in fields like accounting or law. It analyzes client billing data to proactively spot where clients might need more services.
So they can approach business development using their analytical skills, not just cold calling or networking.
Exactly, playing to their strengths. Then there's Caitlin Chosserk, mentioned in a Medium piece, using AI in design. Specifically, areas like VUI, voice user interfaces, and effective computing, which is AI understanding human emotions, so AI enhancing human-centered design.
Interesting. And companies are actually changing how they work.
Some are. The sources mention tech firms creating dedicated hush rooms for quiet, focused coding, and a consulting firm implementing introvert hours, meeting-free afternoons where AI tools support independent work. These are concrete adaptations.
Okay, so the big aha moment here isn't just about introverts adapting to the workplace. It's about using technology to shape the workplace itself, making it more inclusive, more effective by actually leveraging these diverse strengths.
That's the shift. It's a really powerful reframing of how we look at productivity and talent.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of talent, what about leadership? That's nearly always painted as an extrovert's game, right? Charisma, being out front.
That's the dominant stereotype for sure. But the sources push back on that. They suggest, and reference places like Forbes Council, that introverted leaders can actually excel, particularly in creating psychological safety, fostering deep, thoughtful collaboration in their teams, less noise, more substance perhaps.
Okay, and how does AI help that style of leadership?
By providing objective, data-backed insights to support their approach. For instance, AI analytics can help assess employee engagement beyond just who talks the most. It can spot those quiet high performers.
The ones who might get overlooked otherwise.
Exactly. And tools like 15.5 or Lattice, when enhanced by AI, let introverted leaders track progress, give personalized feedback, but without necessarily needing constant face-to-face check-ins, which might not be their preferred style, or the employees.
Using data to inform those more nuanced, maybe quieter leadership interactions, that's really valuable.
Absolutely. And think about delegation. Introverted leaders often prefer systematic, data-driven decisions. AI project management tools can analyze skill sets, workloads, past performance, and then recommend task assignments.
Like suggesting a complex research project for a specific introverted analyst known for their thoroughness.
Precisely. Matching the task to the person's strengths based on data. That not only gets the job done well, but it can also boost job satisfaction people doing work that suits them.
Okay, we've seen how this works for individuals and teams. What about the whole organization? What do companies need to do strategically to make this synergy really happen?
Right, the systemic level. The sources point to a few key strategies. First off, inclusive workspaces. Open-plan offices are often tough for introverts. Sensory overload, constant interruptions, it kills focus.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, smart office systems using AI can monitor things like noise levels, lighting. They can even automatically create designated quiet zones. One source mentioned a firm in Singapore. They put in AI environmental controls tailored to employee needs and saw a 25% productivity jump.
25% just from managing the physical space better.
Apparently so, leveraging tech to create environments for different work styles.
Okay, what else?
Tailoring, training, and upskilling. Introverts often thrive with self-paced learning, so e-learning modules, maybe with AI tutors built in, let them master new skills like using AI tools themselves without the pressure of large group sessions. Gamified platforms can also help build confidence in a low-stakes way.
Adapting the learning to the learner makes sense.
And, this is crucial, rethinking performance metrics. How success is actually measured.
Moving beyond just visibility.
Exactly. Traditional reviews can unconsciously favor extroverted behavior, who speaks up most, who seems busiest. AI can help recalibrate this. Track outcomes that reflect introvert strength, code quality, depth of research, impact of analysis, client satisfaction driven by that deep work.
So focusing on the results, not just the process noise.
Right. There was an example of a software company that shifted evaluations to focus more on bug resolution rates and code elegance, less on meeting participation, and they saw a 15% increase in retention among their introverted developers.
Wow. That directly links changing metrics to keeping valuable talent. That's powerful.
It really is.
Okay, so looking further out now, what does the future hold for this pairing of introverts and AI?
Well, the sources get pretty futuristic here. They talk about emerging tech like AI-mediated virtual reality workspaces.
VR workspaces, how'd that work?
Imagine an introverted engineer collaborating with colleagues across the globe. But instead of a chaotic video call, they're interacting via AI avatars in a controlled VR environment. It could blend some benefits of face-to-face, like presence, shared space, but with more control over the social exposure. Tailoring the interaction level.
Oh, that could totally redefine collaboration, couldn't it?
Potentially, yes. Offering new ways to connect that suit different preferences.
Fascinating. Okay, so let's try and pull this all together from our deep dive.
All right.
It seems clear that the natural strengths introverts possess that deep focus, analytical rigor, the preference for structured thought and communication. These align incredibly well with what AI can do: automation, processing vast data, enabling structured interaction.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly good fit.
And leveraging this connection isn't just about, say, making individual introverts happier or more productive. It seems to unlock higher performance for the whole organization.
Definitely. Better productivity overall, potentially more diverse routes to innovation, and enabling more effective data-informed leadership styles.
And organizations can actively foster this by adapting their spaces, physical and digital rethinking training, and, crucially, changing how they measure success.
Exactly right. And the core idea, really, is augmentation, not replacement. It's using this powerful technology to enhance inherent human strengths, including the quieter ones that maybe got overlooked before.
So the quiet contributors, armed with these advanced tools, they could actually become major catalysts for change.
That's the potential, yes. Transformative change, driven by a newly empowered part of the workforce.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener, based purely on what we've unpacked from these sources. Given how AI seems poised to level the playing field, accommodating different communication and work styles, What hidden talents, what untapped potential might AI help unlock within your own organization, or maybe even just in the way you approach your own work? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope it gave you some valuable insights and things to mull over.